Welcome to Channel 17, the Town of Colonie Government Channel.
Welcome to The Money Factor, our show on local business and personal finance topics. It's about time for spring projects to begin. Now, this is both a business and consumer topic, but we're going to look at it today from the point of view of a trade show that's going to be taking place just north of here. We have two guests to help us with this: Eric Johnson, President of Premier Event Productions, and Chris Hadsel, millwork specialist with Curtis Lumber. We're going to be talking about some specific projects and how you can use trade shows to get those projects done better. I want to welcome you both here to the show.
Richard, thank you for having us.
Eric and Chris.
Thank you.
Glad you could be here. Let's start out getting a little background on the home show.
Okay, coming up March 23rd through the 25th at the Lake George Forum. That's up in Lake George. We have the North Country Home and Backyard Expo. It's the second annual, and we're really excited about it this year. It's we're assembling some of the builders and remodelers and suppliers from all over the Tri-County area up there, and look forward to helping people with their projects that are coming up this spring.
And I know that Curtis Lumber is the main sponsor of the home show.
Yes. Yes.
What made you want to sponsor a home show?
Actually, Eric did a very good job in bringing the show to us to offer us the opportunity to sponsor. It's actually nothing that we've had in our area before, and expanding and growing our business as a whole, the opportunity was without a doubt very worth it.
I've always believed in trade shows myself. What I've learned about trade shows is that they're so useful to so many people. I think a lot of people have seen these ads on TV, the magic of the internet, where you can say, okay, bring me all the cars, and then they'll show you a whole lot of cars, and somehow you manage to see exactly the one you want because you have a big choice. And the way I understand a trade show and a home show is an example of that, is that they really bring everything together, a number of businesses. You can go from one to the other and ask questions, and people can wander through. Now, how does that fit in with our, I guess, good fortune that this is taking place right when we're getting back to our projects?
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Richard. One of the things about trade shows or consumer shows is that they give people an opportunity to come to one place for a period of time and really get the information that they're seeking based on the type of consumer show. As far as the internet is concerned, the internet's great for doing the research. You can come almost more equipped than you ever could before. You know, sometimes you might come to a show not quite sure what you're looking for.
So we're really combining the two together
You're
now.
combining the two. A lot of people will come to the show with their plans, understanding some of the products they're interested in, but they need to speak to the experts and really get it all figured out. And when you have an assembly of companies in one place, it just makes it easy for them.
This is a business, finance, and consumer show. And when I first thought about this, I was thinking, well, it is a consumer issue. How do we choose what we want to buy? It's also a do-it-yourself kind of a theme, because you can't do one without the other. We just about have to talk about products as well as the fact that you have to choose the best product and how you're going to do that. How do you put together a home show so that it really fulfills your goals?
That's a great question. My company we've been in the building industry for 20 years, so our focus is on shows that have to do with homes, and it can be log homes, timber frame homes, or anything to do with the home, remodeling, anything. This show came about, there was a void in the area where there wasn't an event for the people, the consumers in the area, as well as all of the companies and the builders and the suppliers. They didn't have a place where they could meet and kind of, you know, like I always say, meet your future customer or meet your future supplier, whichever side of the fence you're on. And our focus is to put on a show that's really about that. It's about getting questions, having questions, getting answers on the projects you have coming up and meeting those people. So when you think like that, the exhibitors kind of fall into place. There are certain exhibitors we allow in the show, and there are others that, although might fit, don't fit what we're looking for. And we really are looking for exhibitors that have anything to do with the home, and that can be outdoors and landscaping, new grills, decks, stamped concrete, to building new homes, to remodeling existing ones, pools, spas, anything like that fits in with somebody doing a project on their home. That's what we're really after.
I want to give Tom a chance here to, Chris, I'm sorry, a chance to go into the Curtis side. I think you do a number of those things that Eric just mentioned.
A lot of them.
I mean, you're called Lumber Company, but I've been in Curtis a number of times, and it's much more than that.
It's actually a growing business all the way around. We've got anything from a kitchen to a basement renovation on up to shingles on the roof. I mean, if somebody's looking to enhance their home to fit their needs, it's from flooring to the ceiling. It's all covered.
So that's certainly a good vendor to have at the trade show.
And with Curtis Lumber coming on as the main sponsor, it was really a good fit for both of us. We wanted to set the tone that's what this show is about. And for me and for Curtis, it's a win-win situation. And the other part of this, we also have some support from the members of Branny. And Branny is the Builders and Remodelers Association of Northern New York. They're a very important part of this. And they're a part of the Home Builders Association, which is the big, the umbrella, I guess you could say, association of all builders across the country. This is our local association up in the North Country. And so we have a lot of vendors who are members of that are there as well. So it really works out great for all of us. So
there are different reasons why somebody, I guess, gets into a project in the spring. Of course, the temperature is one thing. We've painted everything we want to paint, I hope, by now, on the inside. And now it's time to get back outside. But I guess there's still a variety of projects that people are going to be interested in, whether it's a basement or a deck. What kind of a variety do you expect this summer in terms of, or the spring, in terms of what people are interested in?
well, it's you know, in our area and really Albany North, I guess you could say, housing, remodeling, those types of projects, those types of purchases that have to do with the home are still ahead of most parts of the state. So it's very active up there right now.
So why is that?
That's a great question. I guess you get a lot of people from not necessarily this area who are moving in from other areas of the country or downstate. You get a little bit of that. I think maybe with the technology plant coming up there.
So we're really talking about the state of the economy, the unemployment rate, and all those things.
Yeah, so I think that's a part of the really what people like about the area. And you know, it doesn't hurt that you have Lake George, Queen of American Lakes, right there too. So I think that's a big part of it. So when you look at all of those things, there's a lot of different projects that can be done. A lot of new home building going on, so there will be builders there who have that. And of course, remodeling projects, we have companies like Adirondack Basement Systems. They're going to be there. They're going to be talking about you know, getting your basement ready to have it finished off. That's a big project. You know, Chris can attest to. They handle a lot of supplies for people.
Do you get a lot of that?
Yeah, and then you got to have everything that will fall together in the right coordinated time schedule. As far as doors, you got to have, if you're going to make a living area down there, like a bedroom or something, you have to have egress options and ceilings, because everybody's got the plumbing and stuff hanging down from their ceiling, and it's all got to be come together.
Now, people have a lot of different levels of ability. Some people might come in and they have an idea, they want their backyard to look better, but have no idea how to get there. And someone else might come in who's built decks, and maybe they build homes in their work life, and so they wouldn't have a problem. How do you accommodate the range of people? And what advice do you have? I guess we can go into some different scenarios.
Well, it's, you know, what we see is, you're right, there are a lot of people with a lot of different levels. Like I like to do work at my house, but I stay away from electrical. I'll run wire, but then I'll have a licensed electrician come in and finish the rest. So,
you and me both.
So you can do different stages like that. Plumbing, I won't go near. So it just depends what the project is, and you know, to what level each person is. You know, building a deck, sometimes it comes down to, you know, they can hammer a nail. They can read plans, but maybe they don't know the codes. So maybe they have a drafts person draw up the set of plans, get the proper permits, then they go to Curtis Lumber, get all the materials. So I mean, so you look at that way. So there are a lot of different things that a person can take on, and you know, you can start midway or at the beginning, depending on your level, or you can have it all done for you. You know.
Now, is there anyone that that would be at the home show perhaps, or if they wouldn't, what should someone do before they come? Maybe they don't really know what they should be doing. I mean, I've heard that some people will put in a patio, maybe with some brick or some other type of a stone, but they don't really know to create the base properly.
That's right.
And then they're going to have maybe a little swimming pool for the chipmunks next winter.
That's right.
If they don't do that right. How do you help people to figure out their level, and can you go as far as getting them a contractor, or would it be simpler than that?
Well, I think, again, the beauty of a home and garden show like this is that the people in the booths are there to answer questions, and they're there to, just like what we just talked about, to determine to what level a particular customer wants to take the project, or do they want to do it themselves. In regards to a project like laying pavers or something like that, you're right, you have to properly prepare the base. So what do you do there? So I mean, there are companies there. Saratoga Masonry Supply is one. They're going to be there. They can help you with that. You know, they probably have the wherewithal to actually put it in for you totally. I mean, it just depends what you want to do. But the best part is that's why you can get those answers right then and there and know where to go. I mean, you got to start somewhere, and finding point A is important. So,
any comments on that?
Along those same lines, I mean, if somebody's building a deck or whatever, through the technology, computers, we can actually draw you a deck, show you where parts are supposed to go, how things are supposed to come together, the best recommendations. They can do the same for a kitchen. They actually have some designers on staff for the kitchen department in the stores that are certified. They go through some training themselves, so they don't just throw cabinets together and say, close enough. It's designed to go together a certain way and meet all the specs and requirements. It's a pretty good system.
Yeah, we don't want to see those handles on there where they're not perfectly straight.
The decks and stuff, you got all the new stuff coming out, the composite deckings, Trex and Portico are two that we stock at the stores.
So it's not just, what is that kind of wood that looks like it's partly green?
The treated
lumber and cedar. So there's some more.
There's a lot of options for that now, and the maintenance reducing composite decking makes it so you just wash it off. You don't have to worry about staining, sealing, and all that good stuff that you do with a treated or a cedar deck. It's come a long ways.
What about aesthetics? Any help there?
Aesthetics-wise,
my father used to make a very strong product, if you know what I mean.
right.
Mm-hmm.
As far as aesthetics, that wasn't something that he noticed.
they actually, with the composite deckings, there's 4 or 5 different colors from each of the manufacturers. So as far as aesthetics to fit in with any decor, yard decor, whatever you want to do, it works out pretty good.
With wood grain, some have wood grain, others don't. But so you've got, you know, depending on what you're trying to, what look you're trying to achieve.
And I guess we all recognize that taste is subjective. So maybe there's a majority of people who decide what looks good, but nonetheless, we all live with that.
That's right.
Is there a trend? Are there things that, there are new products, I guess we could look at it that way. Are there trends with new products? Are there trends in what people are going to be doing this year? Do you expect a lot of decks? I guess that's perennial.
Right. Well, I think that is a good question because, you know, almost not quite as fast as computers and technology, but building products and all of, you know, heating and air systems, all of those things, smart homes, all of those things are developing at such a rapid pace. It's hard to keep track. I mean, if you were planning, for example, to build a new house last year and maybe you didn't get to it for whatever reason and now you want to go again this spring, I mean, you pretty much have to go back and say, okay, what's now available, because the products really change that fast. And a show gives you the opportunity to see those state-of-the-art projects, you know, products in real time. And that's the other reason why exhibitors do a show like this, to possibly get those new product lines out in front so people can actually see them and be aware of them. So it's important.
Right, so there's two different things going on.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you don't have time, I guess, and it's expensive to put ads on for every new product.
Exactly.
Right. You said kind of a magic word there that got my interest, energy. And I noticed that there's a number of energy type, conservation of energy type companies that are going to be there. Anything new going on with that?
Again, always changing. One of our exhibitors does radiant floor heating, and that's something that's, you know, it's been around for a while, but is growing in popularity. They're going to be doing a seminar on that actually each day, Saturday and Sunday. It just helps people understand how do you prepare your house for radiant floor heating, costs, all of those things.
Is it efficient?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So why don't more people use that?
Well, I think a lot of people have the old tried and true systems in whatever house they are now. When you start doing remodeling projects or building a new house, those are options. And so you have to look at all of those things, how it works with your budget, and really do a comparison, and then look at the energy consumption and all of those things, and make the right choice. And the more information you have, the better decision you're going to make. So,
a lot of these things could come down to resale value.
Exactly.
If I put in radiant heating in the floor, and there's another house that's similar but doesn't have that, I could see that somebody might say, well, that's pretty nice there. I like that.
I would say that's a selling point.
Especially in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if it's an older home, if it's got old single pane windows, then you can replace those with a more energy efficient or Energy Star labeled replacement window, or new doors, just to help seal it up, keep it a little bit warmer inside. It's going to add to the value of the home, without a doubt.
There are things that are apparent. In other words, it looks good. It has street appeal. And there are other things that are kind of basic, like a furnace, once you get inside. But since we're looking at a home show, we're looking at spring and things on the outdoors, maybe we will focus a little on curb appeal.
Sure.
Anything going on there?
Oh, a ton. We've got for the consumers. We have a lot of great landscaping companies are there. They'll have some nice displays to really, again, showcasing new products that exist. As far as retaining walls, lighting, landscape lighting's huge. We'll have a company there that just focuses on landscape lighting, so that they got a really unique looking booth, and it really, when you walk in, you say, wow, that's the kind of lighting I want at my house. If you're looking for that curb appeal, we've got stamped concrete. Again, decks play into that. We've got the latest in grills. I mean, when we did the show for the first time last year, we had a company come in, and they had some of the newest barbecue grills out there. I mean, they are incredible. Light-up knobs and all kinds of things, all stainless steel. So you get to see all of those products, and it's about a lifestyle, really, at that point. You put all those things together, an in-ground pool, a landscaping, a deck, a new grill. I mean, that's all about turning your backyard into an oasis, and that's what you can kind of,
a lot of that is quality of life.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get a value out of the money that you put in, because curb appeal is really about probably not spending $40,000 to get 20 back.
Right.
You want to get somebody in, you want them to buy it, but you don't want them to say, well, that's a kind of a puny bush, but it's a great deal.
Right.
You want to make a difference and get them inside and make money on it. So what kind of things are good for that aspect of the raising the value of the house?
As far as the outdoor landscaping and things like that?
Right, and then we can move in, but...
I think a lot of times what you see, again, when you pull into a home, and for example, you have an asphalt sidewalk to the front door, then you compare it to the new pavers or the stamped concrete look, I think you see an immediate difference there as far as apparent value. And so you have all of those options. It's just incredible. Are there awnings on the outside of the house for sun protection and things of that nature? Do you have a skylight or sky windows up above? Do you have a solarium on the house? All of those things, although they're more structural and actually add square footage, but they're also curb appeal as well to actually see those from the outside. So I think that's what you look at. Landscaping company can talk to you about what side of the house you want to do this on and what shrubs and what will work best, so that you don't go buy all the wrong material, plant it all, and then it all dies on you. So you want to talk to those professionals if you're going to do it yourself. Get to the point where you're even drawing up plans, have a budget in mind, and bring those to a show like this. Have a basic, and you don't have to be an architect, just a real basic outline of your front of your house, know which way the sun is, bring that to a show.
You mean I could do it on paper? I could just write...
Just a rough,
okay.
Yeah, rough, whether it's flat or sloping, pictures, you got digital cameras now, you can bring those along.
That's probably a good idea.
So then they can look at that and they can say, well, this is the south-facing house, or south-facing front yard, so you don't want to do this, but you want to do this. This is how the sidewalk can go. And then you can that's how you get to a point in saying, okay, great, let's
Well, I noticed that
forward.
Cornell Cooperative Extension is there, so that might be a good question
That's right.
for them as well.
Exactly right, yeah.
Should I put a pine tree that's going to grow to 100 feet tall next to my porch?
That's right, and they can answer all those questions for you,
Right.
sure.
Right. Now, Curtis Lumber, from your background, what kind of things are going on? Do you expect this spring?
Decks are always popular because everybody wants to expand their living space, and decks are a very good way to do that.
Is that more with new houses, or are people adding them to older ones?
It's probably a good mixture because everybody wants to add that swimming pool in their backyard. They got to be able to get to that swimming pool in some way, shape, or form. A lot of times in an above-ground pool, we can actually design a deck to wrap right around that pool and be an extension of your existing deck, or continue on. It's pretty neat. The,
Deck or patio?
Deck or patio is a big choice. We do stock pavers and landscaping, stone and mulch and that kind of stuff. The other good thing, there's been a lot of studies done, just replacing the front door of a house actually adds a lot of value to the home. Therma-Tru, one of our suppliers, actually has done a lot of studies on that.
I could see the photograph there would be really useful because
Right.
somebody could maybe notice what's really dragging this house down.
Exactly.
Because sometimes I think I don't really see what's wrong with this picture, but somebody who knows what they're doing, they can look at it and a color change or a door change could make a big difference.
Especially if it's your home, you're used to looking at it. A different eye, a trained eye, could help it a lot.
Okay, we could move in the backyard a little bit.
There you go.
Landscaping, there's a lot of landscaping, of course, going on. Fountains?
We have a lot of water features. That's big. Everybody likes to sit on their deck and enjoy their drink of choice, and maybe listen to the water fountain in the back there. Kind of maybe takes you to a different place if that's where you want to go. A lot of pools, a lot of different pools. I mean, you talk about just technology in pools alone. We're going to have several pool companies there and spa companies. And the choices, again, there are endless. I mean, depending on what you're looking for and understanding, again, bring your plan so you know that they know, if you want this grand indoor in-ground pool, you got to make sure you understand the setbacks, the distance from your property line to where the pool can start. Do you have to have a fence, which you do in New York State? But bring those to the people who understand that, and they can better help you with the sizing, kidney shape versus rectangle, whatever. They can talk to you about that. When you talk about decks, Curtis can draw up a plan. Are you going to have a hot tub on that deck? That takes on a different design element. Got to make the deck stronger to hold up a hot tub. So all of those things can kind of be taken care of at a show like this. You can go to the hot tub person and say, okay, how big is this? And he'll say, well, it's this much per square foot. Then you go back to Curtis, and Curtis says, okay, we'll design this in the deck. Bam, then you can set the hot tub on the deck. So
And make sure you still have room
for everything else.
to walk around it.
Yeah,
Room
and
and support.
that's what you can
Right.
do in understanding the dimensions and having an idea what you want to move forward. You can get a lot accomplished in just a short amount of time.
Contractors, do you recommend contractors, or do you recommend going to a single person?
A lot of times, like if somebody were to come into Curtis, we would typically refer them to the Builders and Remodelers Association, because all the members that are in there are reputable members, reputable builders. Remodeling, you get certified remodelers, and it's all, a lot of times what we do is recommend 2 or 3, because then it's actually up to the customer as far as they may have a conflict with 1 or 2 of them, and then maybe the third one might be their choice. So it's not really a point where we're promoting 1 or 2 builders. It's all a matter of trying to give them the options to, so they're not starting out in behind already. They're heading in the right direction, seeing reputable builders.
I think most of us have a tendency, even if we know we shouldn't trust everyone, we have a tendency to not want to hurt people's feelings, and we sometimes don't ask for a quotation. We let them start working. We don't make sure that what we just asked them to add to the job is going to actually make it a lot more expensive than we thought it was going to be. Any words of, I guess, consolation for us who don't like to hurt people's feelings? It's business, right? I mean, you're spending a lot of money.
Big.
What if you asked 3 different companies for their ideas, and then maybe you'd find the one you liked?
The cheapest isn't always necessarily the best, so it's a matter of what you can budget, what you can afford. Make sure they have insurance.
Yeah, that's
Insurance
big.
is a big
Certificate
thing.
of insurance is big.
And references.
References.
Definitely.
Obviously, typically your builders aren't going to give you somebody that's going to give them a bad word, but
Right.
pictures help. Before and after pictures help a lot. Just document everything that you're going to have done, and make sure you understand what they're telling you, what they're selling you.
I remember once we wanted one of these pools with maybe some goldfish and some plants around it. They're really lovely.
Yes.
And I didn't have time that summer to build one. Maybe next summer. I don't know about this one. So we were looking to find somebody that could do it for us, and we found someone, and they gave us a reference, and we went to see them, and then the price turned out to be $8,000 for what we thought was not that big of a goldfish pond here. So I guess we did learn something.
Yep. Yeah, and it's important to make sure you ask those. Don't be afraid to ask those questions of the builders. I mean, they almost, any reputable builder wants you to. I mean, you're doing your due diligence, and that's important. And when you mentioned change orders, that's a big one. Any time you're in a project like that and there's a change made, you have to put it on a change order so it's documented so that each party understands what the other party expects and is wanting. So you want to make sure you do that. That's really important.
Now, going back to your home show just a moment, let's say we have 6 kids, and we don't have a babysitter.
That's
What
understandable.
do we do? Can we get there?
Well, you know, I have 3 little boys of my own, so I understand the what can happen there.
Okay,
And
we just have 3. Well,
we'll have 3, and they're boys, so that actually makes up for it's exponentially greater.
Right.
We've developed a little area called the Kids Zone Workshop, and it's a great place. There's a bounce around. There's a place where they can actually build a little project,
what
like a
type?
bounce around,
okay.
where the blow-ups, you know, they can go in and play.
Kind of like used to be at McDonald's. Or
Exactly right, and we have that area, and that was really designed so that parents could come and, you know, kids, you know, they're energetic, and you want to kind of take the edge off, I guess you could say, and you can bring them over there. They can build something. They can bring it home with them. They can run around. You know, one parent can maybe watch the kids. The other one can kind of go. So if that one of them wants to go look at something, and they can kind of switch off. That way, you can get the most out of the show without being stressed out. So that's one of the things that we kind of developed into the show. So.
And I think you mentioned there are also some kind of help with people who, you know, I'm good with my hands. I put a patio in. I put other things like that in, but I don't always know before I start everything about it. So I need some help. Any help getting some skills?
Well, one of the things, there's a couple of things. You have each individual exhibitor there can, again, help you through whatever level you think you're going to be able to go to, but also, you know, help you understand and make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, which is key. I mean, it's one thing to imagine what you're going to be doing. It's another to actually do it. And then the other thing is we have seminars, and there's going to be some great seminars from these industry experts. They're not commercials. They're not, you know, one of my exhibitors is not going to stand up there and tell everyone how great they are. It's about them giving expert advice. Right. Well, we don't get into that, but they can help with those questions, and it's designed to be informal. It's Q&A. It's putting together. It's usually using some slideshows, and just so people have some visuals to get a good feel for what the project is. But again, you want to ask those questions. It's a great chance to get those questions answered. And you know, we have seminars like that. We also have Larry Zomke. He's going to be doing his Beautiful Easy Garden seminar. He's a well-known gardening expert in the area. So he speaks on Saturday and Sunday. So he talks to the crowd who are really getting ready for that nice weather. So you've got a little bit of both. So it just depends what you're looking for.
You're going to do this again next year, you think?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Pretty much
I mean, last year was the first year, and it really exceeded our expectations. You know, we kind of had a good feeling about it, and it turned out to be a great feeling, and it's exciting. I mean, I love shows anyway, so this was just fun to do, a great group of exhibitors, and, you know, great group of attendees, and that's what makes it go, so.
What are we looking at in terms of prices these days? Have we seen a lot of inflation in materials?
Actually, materials have kind of leveled off because of the building.
I'd heard that wood has just really inflated a lot.
It's actually last year it did because the building was up so much, but it slowed down this past year towards the fall there, and it kind of brought pricing down where it's back where it's can be. You can do a project without having to spend $1 million.
So it's a little like the housing market. Things have moderated.
Yes.
Now in this area they've moderated, but they haven't really fallen off the table. They're pretty steady, and it's been described as this is normal rather than
a boom.
Unsustainable.
Exactly.
But with building materials, we're really dealing with things in Canada. Of course, I guess with houses we are too. But not the market part of it. You know, if people want a house and they can afford a house, around here they seem to still be able to manage.
Right.
But the things that we use, they're really coming from all over the world.
It is global at this point, yes.
And so the prices, you think, are pretty stable these days?
They're pretty flat at this point because, like I said, the prices went high last year because it was so busy, and then it slowed down in the fall because the market itself slowed down, and that kind of brought pricing back down to a reasonable, usable level.
So consumers can rejoice a little bit on that score.
Yes, they can.
How about labor costs? Is that
From
pretty?
what I understand, that there's a lot of people that are out there still looking, still working. They're staying busy through the winter, so it can't be all bad.
Okay.
Labor seems to be abundant at this point, but there's still, from what I understand, a shortage of actual skilled craftsmen
Always the case.
in the building department, building areas.
Now that could be a difficult thing if you need some help and you need some help on your job, and now you might have a hard time finding people, but you still want quality, right? You don't want to settle for somebody who has time.
Right.
Is it like a restaurant? You know, the
The
best
busy-
one, you know, the best one's kind of full.
Yeah. You know, that can be the case. I mean, some builders, some builders like to be stacked and job after job after job. Others have a different way of looking at it and, like steady work, but not necessarily, grind themselves too much. So, you've got a combination there. Again, it comes back to getting the references and getting your competitive bids out there and understanding that process.
And balancing the time you
I-
might have to wait,
I think so.
the price and the quality.
Exactly right. Yeah, checking in the references, all of those things I think is really important. That'll ultimately get you to where you want to be.
Well, we're getting near the end, but I want to make sure that we cover things that maybe have occurred to you and I didn't ask the question right. Anything I should have said?
No, I think we're good. The event is March 23rd through the 25th, and it's called the Meet the Builders of the North Country, but it is really for people across the region. There are products there, suppliers who actually do business in this area as well. So although we're featuring that, it's still a great opportunity to get your questions answered. I think we're the last home and garden show, if you will, of the season in the area. So if you had any last minute questions, it might be your opportunity to come up and see it. And it's right there in the Lake George Forum, so it's easy to find.
It sounds
So
like good timing to me, because up until a few weeks ago, I thought winter was going to last forever.
That's right. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. So
Any?
Just look forward to seeing everybody there. It's going to be a good time. Last year we had a lot of people. The booth was always busy. We're working on bringing some new things in this year as opposed to what we brought in last year, so we cover the whole gamut.
Do you want to give them any ideas about what you're bringing in?
I know that we're going to have some doors and windows on display, probably laminate flooring, which is a very hot topic of
Hopefully
late.
some of that composite wood that I heard about.
The composite wood, yes. Part
Okay.
decking, accessories, yes.
I do want to ask one more question. Should one put cedar deck, or should it be, what's the disadvantages or advantages of that? I know we're not at the home show yet, but
Cedar is a very good product. It's a beautiful product, but it's very soft. So depending upon the use of the deck, I mean, if you're going to have kids walking up and down it all the time, dogs scratching on it, then cedar may not be the best choice. It's a very beautiful product. It's natural. It naturally decay and bug resistant, so it's got some pluses to it, but it's a very soft product.
well, there you go. There's a lot of information that we need.
Yes.
I want to thank you both, Chris, Eric,
Thank you.
thank
for
you.
being here. Good luck with the show. Hope it's a great success, and I'm sure if businesses would like to come up and be a part of that next year,
Oh yeah.
they'd be welcome to put in an application.
Yeah, and they can still get in now. We got just a couple left, but
Okay.
they're going fast, so we're expecting a great crowd there. So we're
Okay,
looking
great.
forward to it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to thank everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Take care. Bye.
Welcome to Channel 17, the Town of Colonie Government Channel.